They're comparing me to Nixon and Watergate now. You know, that Governor Huckabee started all this, saying I won't see out my second term. Huckabee told everybody my administration lied to the American people. How dare he say that? I'm as transparent as it gets. We need Huckabee silenced. Send the IRS to check his records. Give him something else to worry about instead of harassing me. And check his Facebook timeline. I'm sure there's something on there that we can tax him for. Oh, send the drones to fly over his house. And confiscate Huckabee's guns. Let's see how he likes it when he can't go hunting anymore. Oh, and take his bass guitar away. No more playing music for Huckabee. That'll show him to think again before challenging me. Now I need something to get the media off my back. Hey, Joe, it's the president. I need my vice president to step up to the plate for his country. Yeah, I need you to do what you do best. Go out there and say something ridiculous in front of the cameras. Let the media focus on that.
Tonight on Huckabee. As three separate scandals rock the White House, the IRS's targeting of conservative groups takes center stage.
Is this still America? Is this government so drunk on power that it would turn its full force, its full might, to harass and intimidate and threaten an average American who only wants her voice and their voices heard?
That average American is Catherine Engelbrecht, and she joins the governor tonight. Plus,
my question isn't about who's going to resign. My question is, who's going to jail?
But they're not going to jail.
Instead, we're finding out they're being promoted and they'll be in charge of our medical records under Obamacare.
Senator Rand Paul on the president and administration's lack of accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Mike Huckabee.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've got a great audience here in New York. And welcome to Huckabee from the Fox News studios in New York City. You know, I might have been one of the first people to bluntly point out that the Obama administration is not being very transparent, covering up scandals, lying to the American people. But now, with the White House caught in the middle of three separate scandals, Benghazi, the IRS targeting of conservative groups, and the Justice Department's illegal probe into journalists' phone records, the rest of the media is finally starting to catch up, including some of the pundits who usually praise the president.
He does run the IRS. He runs the Treasury Department. He runs the United States government, and he's accountable for it. And this is nonsensical.
I'm offended by it. This is not a political issue or a conservative or a liberal issue. It really is about trusting your government.
This whole transparency thing with the president is crumbling, isn't it?
The president held a press conference Monday, and the reporters were on him like a pack of wild dogs. He did pretty well because, you know, he'd been listening to their conversation, so he knew.
As a lot of American adults not so fondly remember, the last time the government was found looking into the phone calls of reporters and using the IRS for political purposes, it was the Nixon era.
In a few short weeks, you've managed to show that when the government wants to do good things, your managerial competence falls somewhere between David Brent and a cat chasing a laser pointer. But when government wants to flex its more malevolent muscles, you're Iron Man!
This is not the Nixon administration where you had burglars and people talking about blowing up the Brookings Institution. This is more of a case, is anybody home?
It was just revealed that the Department of Justice secretly recorded the phone calls of AP journalists for 2 months. Don't worry, Obama promised reporters that the incident will be immediately investigated by the Department of Justice.
The IRS was screwed up here. The IRS sent those documents illegally to reporters. This is a problem.
You bet it is. Well, Obama world has been rocked by scandals and controversy. And as you just saw from the clips, criticism hasn't been limited to Fox News, talk radio, and conservative bloggers. Whether these festering sores on the administration are just bad luck, incompetent management, Are corruption on a large scale and permeating throughout the government is yet to be determined. But there's one thing that emerges with clarity. Or to put it in the familiar words of the president, let me be clear. The one consistency in this not very funny comedy of errors has been the response at every level of the Obama administration when pressed for who's in charge and who's responsible. No one knows anything about anything, at any time, about anybody. Now, we compiled a sampling of responses, or maybe I should say lack thereof, from Attorney General Eric the Withholder Holder. This is from last week's inquiry regarding why the Associated Press had its phone records raided by the government.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know. I don't know what has happened. I don't know that I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know precisely. I simply don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. One wonders how a person with a distinguished academic background, a long history in government service within the Justice Department through several administrations, and now for over 4 years, the highest law enforcement official in the land, could have developed such an acute case of amnesia. But it appears that such forgetfulness is not limited to the esteemed Attorney General. It may, in fact, be a resume requirement to serve in this administration. Remember Chuck Hagel's confirmation hearing to become Secretary of Defense?
I don't know enough about it. I don't. There are a lot of things I don't know about. I don't know as much about them as you do.
Hey, what about Hillary Clinton's insistence that she was not aware of the terrorists being responsible for the attack on our facility in Benghazi?
I do not know. I don't have any information on that. I have no information or awareness of that. We didn't know. We didn't know. We don't know. I had no knowledge of them.
Oh, and let's not forget Jay Carney, the White House press flack. Even though he sure seems to forget a lot.
There was no knowledge here at the White House. We were not aware. He's unaware of that. Well, I don't know. We simply do. We don't have information. I don't know. We didn't know that. I don't have information about that.
But such selective memory is not limited to the underlings, since the president himself seems to have lost some of his capacity for recollection as well.
I'm not familiar with this notion. What I'll do is I will find out what exactly you're referring to. I first learned about it from the same news reports that I think most people learned about this. I certainly did not know anything.
Oh, my. I mean, what we clearly have is an administration in which no one is responsible, no one is culpable, no one was part of a failure, and in fact, no one even remembers being there. No one remembers a thing. Well, they do remember who the people are they consider their enemies because they put them on a list and then use the full powers of the IRS to attack them. They bully them by turning loose regulatory agencies on them to put them through the grinder of government overreach. The goose-stepping, jackbooted government goons have unlimited resources and power to target us, terrorize us, and torment us. All kinds of ways with questions and demands for documents that cost us fortunes in attorney and accountant cost. And if we win, we're still out our attorney and accountant fees, while the government will have used the money they got from you to destroy you. And it won't cost them a thing. They keep their jobs, their salaries, their benefits, and their privacy. You'll probably lose yours. Maybe it's time for some floor-to-ceiling house cleaning going on in Washington. And maybe we ought to start with the disgustingly dirty areas first. I guess that means we ought to start with the IRS. Excuse
Are you
me?
Governor Huckabee?
Yeah, we're kind of in the middle of a show. What's this? Seriously. It's from the IRS. I'm being audited.